they get through the week here. So Joey Bosa, Terrell Bernard, Joshua Palmer, and Spencer Brown. And then Cole Bishop left the game, didn't return. It was mainly cramping that was going on there, not an injury necessarily. So he should be okay as we move forward here through the week. So with that, time is yours.
Is Cole doing better today then?
As far as I know, I have not seen him. But as far as I know, yes.
Entering a overall weekend, facing the fact that the AFC East is on the line on Sunday, how encouraging is it to know that this team has learned how to win with the injuries and the way it's won over the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's an important thread of our team. We've always been a tough football team, tough organization, something we take a lot of pride in. And in order to play well down the stretch, and handling some of the situations and managing those things that you mentioned, is you got to have toughness. And that's an important piece of playing good football.
There was a video on social media and you were right there on the sideline where, as you watched Josh approach you on that throw to Khalil, on fourth down, the touchdown catch. Just what was your thoughts and your reaction? You were pretty excited when you saw the outcome of that play.
Of the one to Khalil on the fourth down?
Yeah, fourth down.
Yeah, I mean, of course I'm gonna get excited, emotional. It's an emotional game. You try as a head coach in particular, you try and keep your poise and composure, because that's what's needed in most of those situations. But at the same time, it's important that you show your emotion too. I remember growing up, had a baseball coach one time that was, let's just call it subdued. And even as a young kid, I was like, I'm not really feeling that, So that's just who I am. And believe me, there's a lot more going on inside than sometimes people see on the outside. But that's part of the job too, and making sure I'm putting the team first in the situation that's at hand.
Part of what made that play so incredible was the audacity of the throw.
Audacity, that's a great word.
Are you past the point of, I don't want to say questioning those decisions, but just like being back and being like, anything that he decides to do out there, go?
That's not far off, really. Even the last play on the 3rd and 15, he's just got this it factor that is hard to question and hard to defend. So it's just a special quality that not a lot of people have, not a lot of players, not a lot of performers have. And what I would point out, though, as a bigger picture item, though, is within those plays that everyone's saying are wow plays and only he can make those plays, are the checkdowns that were thrown when they needed to be thrown, or the ball that got thrown away earlier in the. And I'm speaking like a true coach, I know, but that's the balance of discipline and him being so special, right? When you can do these plays over here, it's one thing to run around and make these special plays. It's another thing to go, hey, when the situation calls for it, there's my check down. I'm throwing this ball away in the high red zone yesterday when we get a chance to play another play. So that is, to me, the combination of an elite player playing at a high level.
Staying on the topic of Josh, along those lines, Sean, 3 of his best, at least statistical performances this season have come against the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. So that's Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow. And I know he doesn't play defense and he doesn't play those guys. Yeah. But is that a coincidence in your mind that when the opposing quarterback is among the elite in the game, that Josh seems to raise his level?
It's taken you 8 years Jay, to. No, you're right. You're right. He is very competitive. Early on in his career, we used to talk about, hey, let's just play the defensive coordinator. Let's play the defense you're playing, not the opposing quarterback. And he's just matured so much and developed so much he knows what he needs to do to get himself just right for those games. And no matter who the quarterback is on the other side, but I'm sure in this case, he's, I'm sure I know that the quarterbacks that you mentioned, they all feel the same way about each other. They have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, but they want to beat each other. So it's great to be able to watch those games unfold when you've got elite quarterbacks going against each other.
For Josh, how much do you think a part of that is knowing the guy on the other side of the ball and their ability to put up points and things like that? He's going to have to do those extraordinary things.
Yeah, no, another level of maturity, mastery. Because you could go the other way too, of like all the way over here. Well, I've got to do this, and then you end up pressing, and then that's not healthy. So it's like I said, him finding this delicate balance of what I need to do to help my team win, and yet making sure that I'm not pressing too much, because that's not healthy either. So he's really done a phenomenal job of last year and this year in particular of finding that sweet spot.
We did not have a chance to ask you about Darnell Savage.
Yep.
How does he fit? What can he bring to your defense?
Yeah, we'll see. Interested. Had a brief conversation with him this morning, and he's a guy that we've had our eye on. Going back to even the draft process, and then when he left Green Bay for Jacksonville, and then Jacksonville to Washington the last couple of months, I believe it was. So, like any player this time of year, you're trying to see what you can add to help our football team. Learning is going to take some time. Maybe he plays some safety, maybe he plays some nickel, maybe some special teams. We'll just take it one day at a time here.
On the down, go ahead.
I was going to say, with Max coach in several weeks since you've been back in the lineup, I realize progress on a rookie is not a straight ascent. How has he worked to build trust in the defensive staff to give him more opportunities these last several weeks?
Yeah. Really, again, growing in the system, growing in the level of detail that he needs to execute and play with, to play winning football for us. And, yesterday he had one that I know he wants back that we all saw. But again, there's growth in the game even yesterday with some of the things where the ball wasn't thrown his way in terms of techniques. And, you're going against a receiver yesterday that's has a size advantage on most corners around the NFL. And so he'll learn from that situation, and it's good experience for him at the same time.
On the downside, can you pinpoint what went wrong on third down defense? It's one of the worst percentages, I think, since you guys went 9 for 10 against the LA Rams in 2020.
Yeah, it's we always talk about being able to get there with 4, right? You got to be able to get there with 4, and then with that, you pair that with the coverage working together with the rush. So, all in all, we need to do a better job of our level of execution there, and you want to get it to a spot where you're able to get off the field. I thought first and second down was not the issue really in the first half. In particular, it was third down, to your point, and way too many converted third down. So that's an important part for us as a football team, to be able to get off the field on third down, and how well we can rush and affect the quarterback, and then certainly cover on top of that.
I'm not using this as an excuse, but is it a materialistic factor that you're missing Michael Hoyt, you're missing Joey Bosa? Does that contribute to that?
Well, there's other players as well. I mean, but at the same time, they're not coming back. I mean, Joey is at some point here, but Michael's not, Ed's not for the most part until maybe later. But we're confident in the guys that we have. We put together a plan, and that's what it's going to take every week is putting together a plan that is not all one way or all the other way, and it's in moderation, a well-rounded game plan to help us win a football game.
I know it's only Monday. I know it's only Monday, but you mentioned Joey there. Is there any shot for Sunday? I know it's probably going to be a day-to-day approach, but early in the week.
I believe there is. Again, just need to get you got to understand, sight unseen for me. This is the medical team saying we'll just take it one day at a time. So I'm kind of waiting on them each day and seeing how it goes. So we'll get with them again tomorrow, and then as we head into Wednesday will probably be a walkthrough, so that'll be hard to tell for sure. But at least he'll be able to get out there and do the walkthrough at least at this point. So we'll just take it and see how it goes here.
Would you say the same about the
Yeah, the other guys, those first, was it 1, 2, 3, 4 guys? Yeah, they'll all be in about the same boat.
You mentioned you get there with 4. You're not blitzing, I think it's only 3% more this year than you did last year. But in terms of, I guess philosophically, how have you evolved in terms of, simulated pressures, this kind of using it as a change up? Has it changed at all the last handful of years as offenses have evolved in the league?
You're always trying to evolve with the offenses as they evolve, or actually before they evolve to the point that you're trying to be as a defense. I'm an aggressive guy. I've come from a system with Jim Johnson in Philadelphia where we pressured a lot. At the end of the day, you never want to be, like I said before, all the way over here or all the way over there, because it gets predictable. And against, honestly, elite quarterbacks, most of them, you need to be able to get there with 4. And when you watch the Super Bowl, that's usually what happens. And it's a great reminder of what you need and how you have to play. So, that's a big part of playing winning football.
You had success with that corner blitz on early downs. How does that help the entire defense, being able to throw that at a team at any point in the game?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of playing in our defense is corners that are tough and corners that'll tackle. So if you're going to blitz the corners, they better be ready to tackle in the run game or, in the pass game, as you saw some of it yesterday. So obviously that was a huge play in the game, and I thought Bobby made a great call, and CB executed at a high level. So it is it's a chapter of our defense. And, some people won't blitz their corners because of, whatever reason, but, we believe that's part of what we do.
I know you mentioned Dalton last night, but just having it back out there, what was his impact on the offense you felt, and did he make the right, making the right strides now going forward to stay out?
Yeah, again, from what I could tell and in talking with Nate, our trainer, no concern about Dalton moving forward, coming off that game. He was in a good space yesterday. He was vibing, man. I even watched the replays of some of his plays, and he's catching the ball. He's kind of, getting the crowd into the game, and the execution was really high, especially amongst the tight end group, and that was really good to see and much needed. We needed that going against that defense in particular. We pivot to this week, and they're built a little bit differently than the defense we just went against. So we're going to need to get some production from some different positions as well.
You spoke about Christian Benford's execution at a high level in yesterday's game. What has impressed you about just the detailed approach that he takes to football?
Yeah, he is very, very committed to the process. As you guys know, he doesn't say much, but very focused young man and on his job. And it's been really a joy to watch him get more and more comfortable in this position in terms of how we use him as a corner and what he does week to week for us. And then not just the pass game, but the run game as well, as we talked about tackling earlier and some of the plays he's made for us.
He get a pass for leaving his feet.
When you make a play like that, yeah, he gets a pass.
Well, he apologized last night for doing it.
I heard that. Yeah, that's we tell him, or we'd say, hey, listen, if you do it, you better make the play, and he certainly made the play. So there's just different techniques you use against different quarterbacks, and he made a heck of a play.
Whether it's his play or just the type of person he is, I know he's a talker within the team, not to us. But how does he kind of elevate the standard of the defense as a whole?
Well, he's a pretty serious person, and again, you're around him enough to see his personality, but then he gets with his inner circle, and then he opens up a little bit more, which is also cool to watch. And those guys ride with him. They do. They have a ton of respect for him. He has a ton of respect for them. And what I love about CB is, where he came from, physically, where he grew up, and then coming from Villanova, and wasn't a first round draft pick, came in right away. I think he started in his first season, at some point during his first season. The way he's worked, got a contract this off season, and that has not changed him. And so, and then he hears, we're all human. He hears some of the questions that were going on early, and he just continues to put in the work and keep his head down and improve. And we're just excited to have him and real grateful for him. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.